So I found some more Reddit stories to read for you guys. And I also need to mine a ton of quartz for some XP. So let's get right into the first story. This story was a bit of a hard read because it has a lot of family issues involved, but it felt right to read it. So let's just do it. My mother asked me not to abandon her after she flew home, and I unfortunately did. The poster is 40 and the mother is 50. So he says, at the end of 2024, my mother had taken some old prescription medication. I mixed them with others and almost overdosed. She's unfortunately addicted to pain meds and won't do anything without them. She was staying alone in a trailer down the street from some family, my aunt, her sister, just north of Los Angeles. My aunt called me panicking and screaming that my mother was dying. Mind you, she and my mother had been in multiple altercations and fights regarding pills and abusing them. After she was discharged from the hospital, she asked if she could come and stay with my wife and I in Texas for a few months so she can get away from California and get back on her feet. Those were her claims, but I knew she was trying to move in because of the situation with my aunt, and she had, unbeknownst to me, started switching all her Medicare and government assistance to Texas before even coming to visit. I love my mother to death, but my upbringing and background wasn't easy by any means. Physical and mental abuse, sexual assault on 2 separate occasions without anything being done. So I myself, at 12, started doing hard substances. I've come a long way in these years to build a life away from California and set my own nest here in Texas. My mother comes to visit, and I realize she only bought a one-way ticket and said, we can talk about return flights later. Oh, 4 months go by, and we're asking, one thing my wife and kids appreciate is their privacy at home, and they don't like pills, drugs, or cigarettes, which unfortunately my mother does on a daily basis. At this point, my mom begs and asks for everything: pills, extra food, and snacks. She's diabetic, sodas and cigarettes literally on a daily basis out of my pocket. My wife was fed up and said she needed to leave and go back to Los Angeles with my brothers or her sister. My mother came to me around February of 2025 and said she needed to fly back to California for back surgery and prescription refills since her doctor wouldn't do it over the phone. As she was getting her things together, she looked at me with the saddest eyes and said, please don't abandon me. I gave her a hug and said I won't, and I did. I only purchased a one-way ticket for her and didn't tell her when she could return. After a few phone calls, I had to just finally tell her that taking care of her was like having another child. We went to Disney World, and a 14 hours drive took us almost 17 because she needed to stop every second for a smoke or restroom break. I had to tell her and apologize that my family didn't want her there. My wife and both her grandchildren have mixed feelings about her because she's always under the influence and doesn't remember what she says and acts irrational in public to where it's embarrassing all the time. So my wife and kids said they didn't want her there. I want to take care and help my mom, but on the other hand, I have a 23-year relationship that was on the verge of collapse because of this. She flew home, and I made her stay with my brother and his family for a short time until she found a place of her own. To this day, I still feel shitty and hear her voice saying, don't abandon me. Man, this poster really went through a lot for his mom. Honestly, from an outsider view, I feel that he didn't really abandon his mom truthfully. He more so set boundaries to protect his wife and kids, which is always a respectable decision. But we have to take in account that his mom, which he deeply loved, so it was definitely a hard time for him. So this next story is a short one, but it was really cute when I read it. I always eat lunch alone in my car to avoid socializing. Today, the new girl at work knocked on my window, so a little context. I'm pretty introverted, and social anxiety gets the best of me sometimes. At work, lunchtime is my recharge time, so I usually go sit in my car, listen to a podcast, and eat a sandwich. I've been doing this for 2 years. Today, about 10 minutes into my break, I hear a tap on the window. I froze. I looked up, and it was a new girl from the design team who joined last week. She's really outgoing and honestly kinda out of my league. I rolled down the window, fully expecting her to tell me I was parked wrong. Instead, she held out a Tupperware box. She said, hey, I noticed you're always out here. I made way too much pasta last night, and I didn't want to eat leftovers alone. Do you maybe want to help me finish this? It's better than a cold sandwich. I was so stunned I just stuttered up, yeah, sure. We sat on the curb near my car, and somehow the topic shifted to sports. Turns out, she's a huge cricket nerd. We talked for 30 minutes straight about the recent series and debated whether our team's bowling lineup is actually good or if we just got lucky. She even pulled out her phone to show me a catch highlight she saved on Instagram. She ended up asking if I wanted to grab lunch for real on Friday to continue the debate. I walked back into the office feeling like I just won the World Cup. Just wanted to share this because I thought I'd be the lonely car lunch guy forever. Today was a good day. So yeah, this was a short one, but also really cute. This is how most quiet guys dream about where a girl just randomly appears into your life. I hope their relationship goes well. Now getting back into things, this story is more hard-hitting than the last one, but it says, I wasted my potential for years, and now I'm terrified it's too late. I don't even know how to explain this properly, but I feel like I wasted almost 5 years of my life doing absolutely nothing. When I was younger, everyone considered me smart. My relatives, friends, classmates, and even teachers used to praise my knowledge and intelligence. I think all that praise got into my head. I got an admission into a very good school after clearing its entrance exam on my second attempt. Because I was slightly older than most students and had already studied some parts of the syllabus, I always felt like, I already know this, I can study later. That mindset slowly destroyed my habit of studying. Somehow, I passed class 12 and decided that college would be my fresh start. I joined B.Tech, but nothing changed. From 2020 to 2024, I barely studied anything. I didn't learn engineering, didn't build any useful skill, and somehow kept passing exams through shortcuts and money. I completed my degree, but honestly, I don't feel like an engineer at all. During college, weed, cigarettes, and alcohol became a part of my life. I also got into a relationship. I had a girlfriend, physical intimacy, substances, and enough temporary comfort to keep ignoring what was happening to my future. For money, I used to sell trading signals taken from other people. I was making enough to manage my expenses, but I had no real skill of my own. Still, I lied to everyone. I acted like I was earning well, doing something big, and living a great life. I wanted people to think I was successful, even though deep down I knew everything was fake and temporary. Then my relationship ended. My friends started moving ahead in life. Some got jobs, some built careers, and everyone slowly went in their own direction. That was when reality hit me. I had no money, no proper skill, no stable career, and no direction. My skin became dull, my hair started falling, and mentally I felt completely broken. I changed 2 cities, thinking a new place would change my life, but I wasted time there too. I didn't learn anything, I didn't build anything, I was just escaping from myself. My concentration became terrible. My mind felt heavy all the time. I would make plans at night and do nothing the next day. Later, I joined an edtech company as an academic counselor. The irony is that I was supposed to guide students about their future when I had no idea what I was doing with my own life. The company gave me a chance, but there was almost no work-life balance, and I eventually left. Now I am trying to do a few things with a friend, but honestly, I can feel myself going back into the same cycle again. Planning, overthinking, smoking, wasting time, regretting it, and then repeating everything. I completed my B.Tech in 2024. And even now, I am still wandering without a stable income or career. I have many plans, but most days I don't feel like doing anything. Weed, alcohol, cigarettes, laziness, and my own excuses have damaged my life more than I want to admit. The worst part is that I know I had potential. I was not someone who lacked opportunities. I wasted them. I am not writing this for sympathy. I am writing this because I am scared. If I don't change now, I feel like I will waste my entire life and spend the rest of it thinking, I could have done something. I also want younger people to understand one thing. Being smart means nothing if you are not disciplined. Plans mean nothing if you never take action. Temporary pleasure can quietly take years away from you. Right now, I just want to become financially stable enough to survive and stand on my own feet. I need honest advice. What skill, job, or direction should I choose to rebuild my life from here. I promise that if I ever manage to fix my life, I'll come back to Reddit and write another post saying, I made it. This was a very important read because there are a lot of people out there who feel the same way as this guy. They always feel inadequate with their accomplishments, always making promises with themselves, then failing them, and falling for temporary satisfactions. If any of you watching right now, this is another short story, but the message is very long. It reads, I've been hiding in my room for 10 years because of severe strabismus. I'm 33 years old, and I have a confession to make. For the past decade, I have been living in involuntary isolation inside my bedroom. A severe case of strabismus completely ruined my vision, caused intense double vision, and shattered my self-esteem. Out of pure shame of looking people in the eye, in fear of judgment, I completely hid from the world. Everyone in my everyday offline life thinks I'm just quiet or distant. But the truth is, I've been trapped by my own insecurity. During the darkest, most silent hours of the early morning, music became my absolute salvation. Crying on my bedroom floor, I began pouring all my pain into my phone's notepad. Those long, painful nights turned into 8 original songs. My ultimate dream now is to step outside, join a singing school, and learn how to perform them with my own human voice. I'm finally trying to find a way to get corrective surgery and unlock my life. But I needed to confess this hidden decade here first. Thank you for listening to a secret I've kept for 10 years. I really hope this poster is able to fulfill his dreams. This next story also talks about things people regret, which is, I finally told my crush how I felt after 6 years, and her answer broke me. Hi, I'm currently 20. This story happened when I was 14 too, and still haunts me to this day. To give a little context, in 2020, during the COVID pandemic, our school made some rules to ensure the safety of every student. One of the rules was that each student had a designated seat, and the seats were randomly chosen. My seat was in the back, and next to me was this girl. She was insanely beautiful, kind and sweet, and by chance I ended up sitting next to her for the entire year. At first it was kind of awkward. I had never really talked to her or any other girl, to be completely honest. But over the months, we became friends. I started developing feelings for her, but I was too scared to confess and tell her. After the year ended, the rules were removed, and we could sit wherever we wanted again. We still talked on some occasions, but not nearly as much as we did that year. After the year ended, I wanted to confess, but I found out she had gotten a boyfriend 2-3 weeks earlier. I was devastated, but there wasn't really anything I could do about it. A few months later, they broke up, and she was really devastated, so I didn't try anything. The years went by, and we eventually reached our final year. We still talked a few times, but nothing special. So I made up my mind and decided to ask her out before prom. I gathered my courage and decided to confess, but my dumb self backed out at the last second. We graduated, got our diplomas, and went our separate ways. I never stopped thinking about her all these years, but the story doesn't end there. We're now in 2026. I was recently invited to a party, and there were a lot of my old classmates there, including her. I partied with my friends and got really drunk. I went onto the balcony to get some air, and there she was, as beautiful as always. When I saw her, I immediately started saying a bunch of random nonsense. We chatted for a bit. She told me she had been in a new relationship for a year, and how happy she was. Because I was drunk, I decided to tell her the whole story. How I had a huge crush on her, how sweet she was, everything. Then I ended by asking something like, what would you have said back then if I had confessed? The words she said next completely shattered me. Not only had she had a crush on me, but she had waited for me numerous times to ask her out. Since I was too afraid to make a move, she thought I didn't care about her and eventually got into a relationship, her first one. Apparently, it only lasted 2 months. As I already said, she was devastated after that, and she tried to find comfort in me, but I was too blind to see it. After that, she tried to show me signs that she was interested, but again, I was too blind to notice them. So, in the end, she let it go during our final year and decided to move on with her life and find someone else, her current boyfriend. She told me how happy she is now, but also wondered how things would have turned out if we had gotten together. I was so disappointed in myself that I just told her something like, "Yeah, I guess that's life. I'm happy for you. I gotta go." I went home and started crying uncontrollably. I can't help but wonder what life could have been like if I had just had a little more courage. So, to everyone who reads this until the end, if you want to ask someone out, do it. Otherwise, you might spend your life wondering, what if? Man, being told that your crush originally liked you is one of the worst things ever. It really makes you rethink every decision you made. But with the theme of these past stories, if you want to do something, just do it before it's too late. To end things off, we have a story on betrayal. The post reads, I caught my girlfriend on a date with another guy. This happened a few months ago, but it's still kinda stuck in my head. I 28 this girl for almost 2 years. We had our ups and downs, like every couple, but I honestly thought things were fine. We were talking about moving in together, planning trips, all that serious stuff. Then, out of nowhere, she started acting distant. Fewer texts, short replies, random excuses to not meet. I kept asking if everything was okay, and she'd say she was just busy or tired. I believed her, or at least I wanted to. One Friday night, she told me she was going out with her college friends for dinner. I said cool and stayed home, but something just didn't feel right. She didn't sound excited the way she usually did when going out with her friends. Anyway, I decided to go out myself to grab coffee and clear my head. There's this new rooftop cafe in the city, and I figured why not check it out. I walked up the stairs, looked around for a table, and then I froze. Right there, sitting at a corner table by the railing, was my girlfriend, holding hands, with some guy I have never seen before. They weren't just friends, you could tell. The way she was laughing, the way he touched her hand, how she leaned into him, it wasn't innocent. I just stood there for a few seconds, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. I didn't go up to her, didn't shout, didn't cause a scene. I just pulled on the hood of my jacket, took my coffee, turned around and walked out. On the way home, I didn't cry. I didn't even feel angry. It was like my brain just shut off. When I got home, I opened my phone, scrolled through our old messages, and started deleting everything. Photos, chats, call logs, gone. Then I blocked her on everything. Instagram, WhatsApp. Her number, even removed her from all streaming services. No explanation, no goodbye text. Just silence. The next morning, she texted me from another number. Hey, did you block me? What's wrong? I didn't reply. A few hours later, she sent another message saying, why are you acting weird? I didn't do anything. She tried to call a few times that week, then eventually stopped. I never unblocked her, never spoke to her again. And you know what? That silence was my closure. I didn't need to yell or demand answers. I saw everything I needed to. I knew the silence would hurt her more than anything I could say, because she realized she wasn't worth even a confrontation. It's been a few months now. I've been hitting the gym, focusing on work, hanging out with people who actually give a damn about me. Some nights I still think about that moment walking up those stairs, seeing her laugh like I never existed. But then I remember how peaceful my life has been since I removed her from it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your favorite story. Ciao.